got Pat O'Neill versus Zackary Egner, respectively. I believe Pat is playing the Mill Janemba, which I think that is correct.
Correct.
And Zackary playing the Shenron leader.
He is. Yeah, this is the first time we've seen both of these leaders on stream. I think these are probably the two leaders that coming into this format were the most talked about set 5 leaders. Would you agree with that?
Yes, 100%.
So it'll be pretty exciting to see these. You know, it looks like, in my experience, you know, Zackary Egner is look like he's playing a yellow-blue variant, which in my experience has been the most competitive. Makes a lot of sense. Your hardest matchup by a wide margin is Storm, and being able to play Flying Nimbus and Sensu being to mitigate that can be very, very important.
Now, if you guys don't already know, this Janemba leader, for one, the permanent is you cannot play cards of a 5 cost or more within this leader. This is also the leader that you get off of the dash pack. It's not this one. I don't think I can actually get the other leader to pull up. It's not this leader. It's a different Janemba leader. But the one I'm referring to, you get off of the dash pack from Series 5. And when this leader attacks, every time he attacks, the opponent has to mill 2 cards from the top of their deck. So let me get the life here.
Sounds good.
Leader is extremely powerful.
Right. And what we're going to see with Pat...
and Pat looked like he took that life, too.
Mm-hmm. Opposed to most variations of the deck that really just focus on playing the 1-drops and the 3-drops and playing as many mill cards as possible, you're going to find this is a rather aggressive version. And most of the decks at the top tables, they are playing a more aggressive variant. And what that's allowing them to do is by being able to threaten lethal damage, players are forced to discard cards and over combo.
Right.
And that puts them in a situation where they don't have enough cards to win the game.
Sure.
And that's going to allow the mill to win.
Right. And I know a lot of people are saying Mill versus Shenron, this is an auto GG, but I think having played a blue-yellow variant, interesting choice inside of Zackary's hand. Having played a blue-yellow Shenron deck myself, it is a tough matchup, but it's not an automatic GG. I will say that for sure. You have to know Janemba, and you have to know what you don't want to do against him, and that's the most important thing.
Correct. Yeah, Shenron seems to be a very, very high-risk, high-reward character.
I actually want to talk about this card because she has been around for since Colossal Warfare, and I think I spelled her name incorrectly here, but this is a fledgling talent Pan. I think that's how you do it. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna do it like this. Let's do. Oh, I can't even do 1K. Let's do Pan.
Let's do yellow.
Yellow. 1-drop. There's only one, I believe. I probably was spelling it wrong, but yes, Fledgling Talent, yeah, there was no E. Fledgling Talent Pan. This card is extremely good in the sense of getting the cards you need to the drop area.
Friends over here, commentating.
Hey, what's up? That was awkward. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Hi, hello.
you're good. Streamers don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, so Fledgling Talent Pan can activate main once per turn. She draws you discard a card from hand and then you draw a card. What's cool about this effect with Shenron is that you get to send the battle cards you would like in the drop. To the drop, but she also doesn't rest herself like something like Carrying Mother Videl. So it makes her extremely powerful, this format.
And with the Shenron decks specifically, both with the Child's Wish and the World Peace variants, you're definitely focusing on finding ways to get your battle cards into the discard pile. And being able to take advantage of Fledgling Talent Pan's ability to consistently put those cards in your discard pile is going to put you in a very strong position. And being able to do that every turn. So what I'm seeing here is Zach seems to be focusing on Goku and Vegeta. My guess is he's trying to ramp to turn 5. He's going to resolve Cheetah Hero revealed.
Right.
And then try to give a triple attack and try to utilize that to go for lethal damage.
Zackary activating his wish, able to flip that leader over, grab a desire. I don't think he had any. I just want to talk about, there's a large amount of interesting choices in this deck, right? I don't know if this is how your version of the deck plays, but he has the Tournament Pack Goku. I see that in his drop area right there. He also has the negate from Union Force. Is this similar to what your build was doing?
So I think there's a lot of different ways to do it. Blue Yellow has, in my experience, has 2 main focuses. 3 actually. Focus on Go Cheetah, focus on Vegito, meaning the 7 cost repeated force, and focusing on Ultimate Evil Majin Buu.
This is a scary amount of objections. I don't know if Zackary has been seeing this sort of play all day, but he is in turn 3 and has 7 energy. No, excuse me, 6 energy.
Right. And what we're going to see next turn is we're going to see that the 7 cost hit the board. And historically, Mill's not been good at being able to address that card.
Right.
And leave your hand raised, please.
To answer your question, curls and piercings, that's the Janemba Mill leader that you get out of the dash pack of Miraculous Revival. Zackary doing the smart thing and checking how many cards he has left in deck, because that's essentially this Janemba leader's win condition. It's not trying to get at your life, it's trying to get at your deck. So Zackary going ahead and milling 2. And most likely, I don't see why he wouldn't just take this since he is on a timer.
Well, you have to remember the leader is 15, so unfortunately...
Oh, true, yeah, the
Janemba's
leader
not
is
gonna be
15,
able
yeah,
to
so
deal
Janemba's
that
not going to do
damage.
anything. And he's just choosing to activate the 4-drop Janemba. Now, I noticed, you guys noticed he played it for 1. I believe is that Demon Sword Janemba that gets to do that?
Reality Bender Janemba
Reality
can
Bender,
be
yeah.
cast for 1 once both players have 4 or more energy.
Yep. So, Reality Bender Janemba. Actually, let me do this. Search, see if I can get it. Oh, no, not blue yellow. Let me reset.
You want you.
Sometimes the website kind of bugs out. But Reality Bender. There it goes. This Janemba, if your opponent has 4 more energy, you can play this card for 1 if you have no other battle cards in your battle area. And then it's activate main, or excuse me, it's auto says at the end of turn, you send it to the bottom of your deck and your opponent mills 2. So he got to mill 4 cards off of Zach right there.
Right. So what we're probably going to see right now is Zackary is probably going to try to equip at all cost Vegeta with triple attack.
Yeah.
And perhaps use that 4-cost Shenron as well.
So
And he-
actually
he
using
goes
leader
2 cards in
effects,
tandem.
so no
Oh.
triple attack.
No.
But he has 7, he can world peace out the
Correct.
7-drop Gogeta for free.
Correct. We're
That is insanely strong.
I am the one who will destroy you!
So now we're probably going to see him hard cast the Majesty in his hand. And again, I think the right play is to do critical here.
Yes.
Triple attack critical was incredibly likely to go through.
And he has to see Demon Sword Janemba to have any kind of removal to this Gogeta, because Demon Sword does have an activate main that allows him to warp a card out, which is really good against Shenron because you lose the ability to get him back from drop area. So I'm hoping that Battle Neill has something to answer this, because if not, he's going to be in a world of hurt.
So he actually chooses not to do anything aggressive, and he's going to chill. Oh, I thought he passed for a second, but there was just some confusion there.
Yeah, no, there's no reason not to be as aggro as possible. And there's the figure of Majesty Shenron.
Yeah.
Activate giving the 7-drop
critical.
Gogeta crit. He's going to get to draw a card here.
And luckily, Pat did draw into the Dimension Magic that is going to keep him in this game.
Now, the question is, does Zach run Bad Ring? He did have two yellow energy standing. No reason why he wouldn't be able to.
Yes, he
Has
was
to be
playing-
careful here now. Paddle Nail is in the optimal spot for Janemba to really start doing some crazy mill damage. Now, I almost wish Pat would have taken that damage only to possibly get himself into an Awaken, because he could have done like a mill 6 option here.
Right. Luckily, Pat drew into another Dimension Magic, which is going to keep that Gogeta at bay just a little bit longer.
Hello, Ziokan. Welcome to the stream.
Yeah, the variation of this deck that I play, I actually don't focus on the Gokus and the Gets. I actually focus on Victory Strike.
Sure. Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'll do the similar thing where I will ramp up to 6-7 energy, then I'll play World Peace for free, and then rank up. And if once I start attacking with my Hope of Universe 7s, I can decide just to give a triple strike and go that route.
Makes sense.
Or you can give the Victory Strike triple attack to overcome barrier blockers.
Unfortunately, Pat not having that Demon Sword Janemba that we were mentioning, so he was not able to remove the 7-drop Gogeta. That's really scary. He already has 3 cards in hand. There could be a potential to where we see Gogeta swing, give him 3 cards, and then he plays another one to remove them out of his hand, and then give that one critical to swing again. So
it is not impossible. So I think it looks like Zach is probably down to about 3 life. He did lose a life whenever he hard casted the.
Yep. So let me update that. Sorry about that, guys. I think Pat O'Neill's still at 8. Zach is at. I did take a life for the Gogeta. Is he only at 3, or is he stacking life? I don't see why he would be at 3. We're gonna do a quick life check for you guys. So remember, that 7-drop Gogeta does have critical. He does, as far as I know, have the option to give it triple attack. And I think that's what he did. All right, so it looks like is at 3 for sure. So let me change that for you guys.
Please raise your hand and call for a judge.
There's a Dimension Magic. Does Zach have a response? It doesn't look like he does. I don't think he even plays Battering. Maybe Battering in the side. That was the first attack. Second attack coming in. This is triple strike critical. Second attack of the triple attack that he gave from the Shenron effect. How many Batterings? So far, nothing. And that is a triple attack crit that's going through. And with all the energy, he could hard cast another body to go for game.
Correct. So the other big thing to understand about the Shenimba is once he awakens, he has the ability of once per game when he's dealing attack directly, he can discard a blue card to do that negate. It's important to realize that trigger is after all autos have resolved.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. That's just... I don't even think he triggers the effect here. Because does he get the option to?
No, it is mandatory.
It is mandatory, okay. Because if he got the
I am the
option
one
to,
who
I
will
was afraid
destroy
he
you!
potentially draws into another negate. I would have rather seen something that didn't. You know, because clearly, even if he's saving the negate, you'd rather take that chance than possibly give it to him right here. So I would have rather seen something like At All Cost Vegeta, which he still had the 2 life to give the triple strike.
Yeah, he's gonna have to bank hard on drawing in a negate. It's unfortunate that the leader can't awaken. The point I wanted to make is, let's say Zackary was to attack with a battle card, and Pat responds with a negate.
Right.
And Zackary says, no, Battering Laser, let's stop the attack.
I don't think...
After that window is done, the leader can actually trigger his ability to continue to negate the attack.
He actually drew into a peel-off, getting rid of the triple strike.
But
he does have the Battering.
And that's going to close it out.
And that's 100% going to close it out. But what an incredible top deck from Battle Neill, coming off of the three cards. Combo phase is commencing.
And I don't think we're going to see too much.
40, that's somewhere in the between 60 to 70,000. I don't know what the second card is. I think that's a 5K. So it looks like that's 40, 50, 65.
Pat playing it
going
out
for the
because
Awaken, maybe has additional.
not worried about time.
He does have a super combo, 25, 35, and yep, that's a scoop up from Pat. Wow, what an explosive game one.
The power of 3 objections. Wow.
Right, and I mean, and so here's the question I want to bring up. And not really the question, but the point I'd like to bring up. This is a mixture of RNG, because we're playing against Janemba. But it played into it so well in this case because every time you don't draw objection, Janemba has a chance of milling it, has a higher chance of milling it. But every time Janemba didn't mill objection, Zach had a higher chance of drawing it. So it just worked out in that favor, and he was able to get to 6 energy so quickly that 7 drops were coming out like 1 drops, and sometimes for free.
They were. So the way that Pat is going to find a way to break through this. So the goal here is you want to be able to have three negates in your hand between Xenobutton, Mafuba, Coercion, Dimension Magic.
Oh, that's a good point. Pat could have. Well, actually, no, he couldn't do it because he hadn't. He didn't awaken yet.
He went from 5 to 2 and from 2 to 0. He didn't get a chance to awaken.
no, he couldn't have activated the leader negate because he wasn't awakened before the attack. And Zach, I think, purposely played it in that fashion to where he's like, I'm not going to allow you to awaken because you can't battering that negate off of an auto.
Right. Yeah, and that's an illustration of Zackary clearly understanding how this matchup works.
Yeah, he clearly has tested against it.
Knowing that he needs to OTK him before he gets a chance to awaken. So the way Pat is going to win this matchup, so he needs to draw a combination of Dimension Magics and Peel-Offs and possibly Whis' Coercion. And the line of play here is, so he plays the Peel-Off right out of the gate.
Right.
And that's going to hit the Battering Laser because otherwise that just ends the turn.
Right.
So then you play the Dimension Magic and that's going to go through. So now you're sitting at like 2-ish energy. And then you need to have a third negate that you hard cast. And if Pat can do that in response to the triple attack effect going off, Pat should be able to come back from that. But unfortunately, the biggest weakness is having a 30k barrier attacker on the board. It's an intimidating card.
Absolutely, and I'm interested to see what happens when Zackary doesn't find 3 objections, so quickly, and seeing how this game might play out. Because but by turn 3, he maybe had 20 cards in deck, and that's scary if he doesn't have the objections.
And it's very intimidating.
Draft box 16, it is about to begin.
So shout out to the 750 players that couldn't make it to Nats that are checking out this intense matchup, round 5, about halfway through the event. shout outs to ARG for doing a fantastic job of keeping everybody
Absolutely.
on track and
Yes.
focused, and we're getting a lot done.
Yeah, I've been having an awesome time. I'm glad we were able to work out and polish out some of the kinks that we had in the stream. It's only going to make the rest of today and tomorrow go that much more smoother, and or smoothly, I think is the correct word to use there. But we're jumping right into our mulligan step for game 2 in this best of 3. We are in round 5. Both of these players are undefeated. Janemba just being an extremely powerful deck, and this blue-yellow Shenron just really showing what it can do.
So something that's going to be really interesting to see here is if Pat decides to go first or second. On one end, Zach going first gives him a chance to play Gochita a turn earlier, right?
Yes.
But on the flip side, if Pat goes second, he gets an extra attack with his leader, and he mills an additional 2 cards. So it'll be very interesting to see which direction he chooses to go.
Hey guys, I know some of you were asking to see some of the giant cards that are displayed here at the event, so I'm actually posting it on my Instagram, which will also go to the Twitter, which will also go to my personal Facebook. So if you have access to any of those, or if you know what that is, feel free to share it amongst each other. That way you can see the cards. I know you guys were asking to see them.
But yeah, I'm really excited. I do agree that 7 cost Hero Revealed is definitely going to be the bane of Janemba's existence. There's actually a lot of decks that are playing this leader right now that are doing very, very well, that aren't focusing on the 1-drops and 3-drops like Pat is.
Where is Zach's life? Oh, okay, he just looked through it. Okay, got it. I was like, wait a second. I'm going to assume he's at 6 right now since he did take 2 Dragon Balls. He knows his life is essentially irrelevant. There's that objection.
So one of the big indicators here between a experienced player with Shenron and one that isn't experienced is how they manage their Dragon Balls.
Yes.
So it seems the correct way to play the Shenron leader through your sequencing is to make sure that you have an odd number of Dragon Balls as frequently as possible. Because whenever you use your leader trigger, you always want to draw 2. If you begin your turn 3 with 6 Dragon Balls, when you tap your leader, you're only getting a +1 off of it. So when you're trying to decide, do I play Dragon Radar or do I search my 2 Dragon Balls first? Depends on if you have evens or odds. Do I get from my life first or do I get from my deck first? If I need to draw a Dragon Ball to end my turn with an odd number, I want to pull from my life first to increase the probability of drawing into another Dragon Ball.
Exactly, and that's exactly one thing I noticed playing the deck is, it's your order of operations is extremely important.
Personal Ambition, being a really interesting card, essentially being a card that replaces itself, much like the Dragon
Somebody's
Ball.
saying that Zach is at 8, so I'm going to put it at 8 for now. Maybe 7. Still hard to tell, but we'll go with 8 until I see. Okay, Giga Yitzen, thank you. I set it back to 8, guys. My bad. I thought when I saw the 2 Dragon Balls, since he had just put down his life, that's where he grabbed it from. And as we can see, there's already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Dragon Balls in the drop area. Interesting choice not going for the early objection. I'm wondering why. He took an attack. Okay, he is at 7 now. Thank you, guys. You guys are on it, man. I know sometimes you're like, why are they so blind? But sometimes I'm like trying to do a post or looking away or someone's talking to me. So that's why I may not catch everything right away.
So one of the cards I want to talk about in this list is Personal Ambition.
Okay.
Which is a yellow desire card. And if it fills a few different roles, something I found that with the Shenron leader is any opportunity you get to make sure you trigger your fetch 1 desire whenever you awaken.
Right.
Is very, very important. Personal Desire does that while essentially lowering your deck count, because as soon as you draw it, you can play it and you get another card. So it essentially bring your deck down to like 39 cards after you count the Dragon Balls. It's pretty wild. The other important value of that card is it can actually fix your energy. So what you do is you tap your yellow to play Personal Ambition.
Yep.
You draw a card, and then you can choose if you want to untap a yellow or if you want to untap a different color. So if you don't get to charge in the progression that's ideal, you have a way to fix that. So looking like another nuts game for Zackary. I see 2 objections in his hand. I don't think I see 3. But it'll definitely be interesting to see if he gets there. But that means that there's a high probability that 7-cost Gogeta is going to hit the board next turn. I'm not sold if Pat can address that yet.
Guys, I posted up in the chat from my personal Twitch account. If you want to go to either one of those, that's where you can find the giant card photos. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Zap. I was trying to answer the question.
No problem. So what we're probably going to see here is Zackary play 2 objections and pass. And then it will be up to Pat to find a way to make sure he doesn't automatically lose to this 7-drop hitting the board.
Somebody actually brought up a good point, which I'm going to now edit inside of that post. Should probably put the link to the stream. I've been doing it in everything else, but didn't do it in that post.
That might be helpful.
We're trying to get to 1,000.
So we see the first objection here. I suspect we're going to see a blue card charged. So we see the 7-cost. And now I suspect we see a nether. And then this is probably going to be a yellow. That way he has the opportunity to activate Nimbus if need be.
There's that figure of majesty.
So it could be World Peace, untap 2, draw a card, and then play the
It looks like
objection.
Zach is at 6 now, too. 6 or 5, one of the two. Pat still sitting at a healthy 8 life. I guess it makes sense, too, with this blue-yellow Shenron deck, because with mine, seeing as how it was kind of a homebrew, I noticed it was very hard to find attacks early game. So I think just doing the crazy, I'm going to ramp as fast as possible and just start dropping big bodies to make up for that lost time makes complete sense to me. Lots of mills happening. Zach's deck looking very thin, only sitting at 4 energy. At this point, last game, he had 7. And a couple objections have been hit. Counting out his deck to see how many turns he has left.
Looks like we're sitting around 10 cards in the deck.
That could, basically that's 2 turns at best. If Pat O'Neill has multiple mill cards.
Right.
Interesting that he plays the 4-drop 8 Vegeta. I wonder why. Could you do you have any idea why he plays that card?
So it's a 20k, so he can use that to sync with his that 4-cost set 2 Goku.
Sure.
By combining them, you're able to play your Gogeta 7 or Gogeta 5.
I see.
But it's also on
because
color.
it's a Vegeta,
Because-
so
yeah.
it's a fusion target.
Right.
Wow. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
It also randomly has the opportunity to gain value if you have multiple copies and you have to combo the first one.
Right.
Super situational, but hey, you never know.
I think Zach is really trying to figure out how he makes up for that lost time we were talking about earlier. He does have 5 energy to... Because you could tap 5 for the 7-drop Gogeta, correct?
Yeah, I think we're going to see the 7-drop hit here. And Zackary siding in Tournament Pack Bulma. The new
Yes.
1 cost from
Yeah,
Tournament
Dangerous
Pack.
Journey Bulma. We can bring that up if you wanted to talk about it. This card is extremely good and an option against the Janemba Mill to send back 3 battle cards that are 3 or more
Correct.
into the deck, and then she draws 1. So you're essentially sending back 2, which is mitigating 1 mill from Janemba.
And what this allows him to do is at this very end game, when he's struggling to find the way to survive, it can help him stack his deck with threats to ensure that the game that it's either ride or die, he's able to draw at all cost, or he's able to draw Gogeta.
Exactly.
And being able to use those for the triple attack, triple strike, and hoping that's enough to get there. So we see Zackary actually activating at all cost effect, drawing 2 cards, destroying Kami.
Bringing himself down to what looks like to be 3 life, maybe 4. I'll go with 3. 4 would make sense considering I had it at 6, but I also feel like I might have been incorrect. And Pat O'Neill is also down to what looks like 6 as well. Ooh, and then we have the Beyond Darkness Demigra, which is really cool because it is an alternate option to basically you saying, I'm not going to use my leader ability this time. I'm just going to go for the Demigra.
Right.
And this is going to disrupt any additional mill that Pat would have had.
Yeah. Disappointed to... so we saw the negate. I wonder if I would have played the peel off instead of the negate, just to draw an additional card.
Yeah. The peel off actually would have been really nice because you can take off the triple strike, get one card.
Right. So this is going to be scary. Pat really needs to draw into another Demon Blade soon.
He needs to draw into Demon Blade without a doubt. Luckily, he does draw on his front side with Janemba, so he has an option there to find the card.
Yeah.
But I do like the mix-up, essentially, from Zackary to deny Pat maybe, a play that he probably had coming to try and end the game, seeing how low Zach's deck is. And
Right.
he is choosing to attack, and there's the mill, too. Sensu in a Prince Vegeta. Does get the Unbreakable. That could help get into a Demon Sword, but it looks like
He has
another Unbreakable. There's no reason not to dig
He
here.
has so much energy. It gets to the cell. Does he do it again? He might do it again.
Goes into a villainy cell.
Unfortunately, he did not do it to the Demigra, because otherwise he actually could have threatened.
He could have, but he
sudden
couldn't. There's no
fatality.
way he couldn't have known. Unfortunately.
Right. Anything he can do here to.
Oh, he was actually attacking into at all cost. It wasn't even at leader, so. Dark Power Backmask saying. Maybe looking to give him a restand option.
And more importantly, giving
So he is at 4.
And more importantly, giving him the avenue to awaken, which allows him to ensure that he can use his leader ability. We'll probably see the double strike here from the Champa.
Why not?
Right.
You don't want to have him have access to like another at all cost or something like that.
Exactly.
You're already threatened by a triple strike. He can't use the third ability on Shenron because the Dragon Balls are in the warp. I think. Didn't Pat used to play that card? Pat, why are you reading that card?
He did, yeah. Pat and I were the ones that found that card in the first place.
For the Hercule deck, correct?
Yeah, he knows it plenty well. So what's
Tap.
the W here?
4.
Probably for Shenron.
Yep. So this is going to be a critical
Critical on
Demagra.
the-
Oh
yeah.
my goodness. Just gave myself a headache thinking of that.
That's a little violent.
The life could be 4/4. It looks like it might be. So I'll go ahead and take your guys' word for it. 1, 2, 3, 4 cards left in Zackary's deck.
So we know we're going for lethal right now.
The problem is Pat is at 4 as well. So
And unfortunately, those cards are going to be comboed out of his hand.
he's choosing to negate with the leader effect.
Is that the legal play? I almost wonder if Demigra's auto would go off first.
Well, here's the thing. With 4 cards in Zackary's deck, all Pat has to do is survive 2 turns.
Okay.
Because he's going to swing, mill these 2, pass, Zach draws a card, and then unless he can do 4 damage,
I see. Right.
Pat basically wins by default.
Right. Get a Demon Blade. I think not yet. He's probably going to need to use a super combo here. Trying to draw into it.
Oh, I guess, yeah. No, I see what people are saying. They're saying that Demagra should have triggered first, his turn player auto. Since Janemba's leader effect is an auto,
Right.
technically.
Correct. He's going all in, trying to find his last play.
Unfortunately, guys, it was something that it was way too late to have caught that. You bring up a very good point. It's not cheating. It was just probably just he assumed that it was a negate, and he in negate timing.
That was just a incorrectness on my fault.
We'll make sure to have that if we go into a game 3, and just moving forward, we'll make sure to have that resolved.
So Pat actually drawing into a lot of defense. So not only does he have the Vegito, but he has 1 negate and he has a peel off. So he'll probably
Hold on, let me just go say something.
So trying to resolve the situation and to fully understand the ruling and interaction that happened. It's a pretty complex interaction. I've never seen it before. So interesting situation here where I think if Vachito gets attacked. Yeah, so this is a pretty complex situation. Haven't seen this interaction, so we're not 100% sure on how it works, but we're gonna find out. I think it's important to remember in these situations how stressful these players are in. As somebody that has, gone undefeated in Swiss and played in multiple top cuts, it's really, really stressful being put in situations where you may not know exactly how a complex rolling is when you're just focused on finding a way to survive when you're on the back foot. It's a very stressful situation. So Zackary having plenty of cards in hand. So sitting with one card on deck. Really curious to see. So go Cheetah here, making it going to one life, putting us in an RNG situation where we just have to kind of hope that Pat is able to draw another negate out of these three cards, or else the Meager plus Go Cheetah is going to be in a very scary situation.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was deemed that going back to that Demogorgon swing, that just a little bit too much had happened. The players started to get a bit confused as to, wait a second, well, how many exactly? What did you have in hand? Mm-hmm. I had an idea and I tried to replenish, but yeah, unfortunately, the judge had just barely missed it because of there's a lot of stuff going on over there. It's more than just this game happening at that table. So, unfortunately, I think the outcome is still the same. Well, or fortunately, not unfortunately, but fortunately, I believe the outcome is still the same. And I told them if we do go into a game 3, or at least moving forward, that they would do the interaction properly. Yeah. But yeah, Zackary's going to take a clean 2-0 on Janemba. I just think the giant bodies that this deck is able to produce so quickly is really what turned the tides of battle right there.
Right. Kudos to both players. So that is such a stressful situation for either player to be in.
Yeah, absolutely. And if anyone was confused why people were saying, hey, try to go back, try to rewind that, basically, and it was an honest mistake, because even everyone was like, wait, what do you mean? Because
100%.
they were thinking of it as it's a negate. So the Janemba leader, the mill leader, on its awaken side, he has a secondary auto that you can do once per game that says you are basically allowed to discard a card to the drop area, and you're allowed to negate that attack.
Right, exactly.
However, even though it is a negate, it doesn't happen in what the game calls counter timing. Counter timing opens up the moment an attack is declared by your opponent. Autos happen after counter timing. Mm-hmm. To reiterate that, turn player autos happen first. So what that means is the Demogorgon that attack should have resolved its effect first, before Pat was able to ditch the card for Janemba's effect. Mm-hmm. So that's because it is an auto negate. It's not even a counter. I won't even call it a counter. It is an auto negate.
Right. It's a very intricate part of the mechanics of the game. Right. I mean, I've played probably 60 plus games in this format, and I've never once seen that interaction happen to even understand.
Series 5 brought in a lot of really interesting interactions. I'll actually talk about one right now. There's an interaction with Mafuba and the Reality Bender Janemba. Yeah. Yes. There's an interaction that states, if somebody were to attack Reality Bender Janemba and you Mafuba the card, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's Mafuba. It can't trigger at the end of turn. But what happens during the turn that Mafuba is supposed to leave? Does Reality Janemba trigger because it's at the end of turn? Yeah. There was a huge argument at my locals and things like that. Now, mind you, the reason why I'm telling this story, guys, is because this is, once again, interactions we have not yet seen in the game.
Right.
So it turns out that the turn that Mafuba leaves, Janemba's auto still activates, because the game constantly checks for, are there any end of turn autos, because it needs to resolve all of them before the turn actually flips to the next player. So for those of you that play the game, if you Mafuba Reality Bender Janemba on the turn that Mafuba leaves, Mafuba gets checked, it leaves, then the game checks again. Janemba leaves, your opponent mills 2.
Correct.
So these are interactions that are brand new, come with Series 5, and it's very easy to not only forget, but to just not be used to and make these mistakes. You know, it's not necessarily that anyone's trying to be a cheat or anything like that. You know, we're trying to avoid any kind of that, you know, negative energy.
Right.
And we do our best to catch it. And just by the time I saw it in chat and had watched the game and then got over there, there's also quite a distance between me and the game. So yeah, so we're going to hop into an interview, guys. Let me just look at everything over here real quick before we jump on over. I do want to make sure we do this the right way. All right. Let me know.
What is up, guys? I am here with our feature match winner, Zach. First of all, congratulations on your win. The first thing I want to talk about, because and we're not trying to like blow smoke. We're not trying to make fun of anyone. Like, this is a very teachable moment. Can you kind of just talk about what happened in that game where we had to stop and kind of fix the board state?
I don't know how Janemba works. So I thought it was like a negate counter or a counter trigger, so it happens first and then autos. But since it's an auto, it's turn player, so my Demigger would trigger, it would rip the unyielding, he would not negate. I kill him, or I put him to 1 because it was crit, and then I'm pretty sure I kill him that turn, but I don't remember what I had in my hand. So
I mean, you got the win, so we got there anyway.
Luckily I got the win. Not luckily, but I mean Demigger's pretty strong. That's shout out to Pat for making Demigger popular. So
What he's saying is you lost to yourself.
yeah, actually.
So once again, a card I popularized gets me killed. First it was Foo Shrouded in Mystery, now it's Demigrid.
See what happens with that.
whenever Bandai prints another broken black card, I'll be sure to break that too. I'm just here to break the game and have fun.
All right, so moving forward, why did you choose this for your deck for the weekend? We've seen a lot of variety. We've seen Storm actually being a really big deck this weekend. Why this one?
Gogeta's broken. Demigger's broken. I'm running 43 cards in the deck, so it's super consistent. And yellow has bad ring laser.
You just want to make a splash.
I'm gonna make a splash.
Who do you think is your biggest competition this weekend?
Like person-wise or deck-wise? Anybody can beat me, honestly. Deck, Storm. I'm really scared of Storm, but we'll see what happens with it. I haven't played a Storm yet, so crossing my fingers I keep getting good matchups.
Any shout-outs you want to give?
Shout out to Broly Eats. What's up, guys?
All right, guys, so we're sending back to Marcus' feature match. Once again, congratulations. Marcus back in coverage. You're going to take over from here. We'll see you guys next